Hi, guys. So I recently read an article about this guy named Dominic Wilcox. And Dominic was an artist and a designer, and he was asked to speak to students about innovation. So similar to us speaking to you all about innovation, he came and he was telling all of the students about some of the inventions he came up with. But then he turned it around on the students, and he asked them to come up with their own inventions. So about 450 students that he did this with, they all came up with inventions. This is one example from a 9-year-old, Wendy Ridley. And you can see that she created what she called a family scooter. So she just strung scooters together. But Dominic was really impressed with all the inventions that these little kids came up with. So he decided to take it one step further, a lot like what Michael was talking about with prototyping. So what he did was he paired all of 45 of the students with a local maker. So for those of you who don't know, a maker is someone who is basically a designer. They are an artist. They like to play with things. Maybe they're woodworking. Maybe it's electronics. Maybe they're creating cool glasses. But anyways, they were paired with these young inventors to make their ideas come to life. So here's Wendy's idea. She actually created her scooter, family scooter, and maybe that's her family riding together. But I wanted to tell you guys this story because it's very similar to how I got started with inventing. When I was in 2nd grade, I had a teacher ask us to come up with our own invention ideas. And when I was in 2nd grade, I didn't really have a lot of problems, but I didn't like when my pants got wet when it rained. So I thought, how cool would it be to have an umbrella that extended all the way to the ground? So my prototype and solution was a shower curtain taped to a plate. But I didn't have a maker at my disposal to make a really cool prototype, but I was still able to show people what my idea was. My experience with inventing and going through this when I was young is very similar to what Dominic came up with, and that is that young people are the best inventors. You're typically not set on how technology has limitations. You're not worried about how to manufacture it. You just come up with ideas to solve in your everyday lives. So this way of thinking is similar to how I invent now. So right now I'm a software engineer at IBM. I'm also the most prolific female inventor at IBM. I've filed over 400 patent applications through the United States Patent and Trademark Office, and about 200 or so of them have issued. But my ideas and my way of thinking haven't really changed. I want to give you guys some examples of some of my inventions. But I typically try to solve everyday problems. Here's one of my ideas. It's called generating routes. But how I came up with it was I was in San Francisco. It was maybe after New Year's, and I had these resolutions that I was going to be fit. So I had a lunch break, and I said, all right, I want to go for a mile-long run. So I was like, okay, how do I do it? I want to go from my apartment back to my apartment. So I went online, I went on some of those mapping software sites, and I started dragging around the routes, and I said, how do I get to a mile? I'd moved around different streets, and okay, that was too much, that's too little. And it was kind of frustrating. I was like, this should be easier. So this patent idea is exactly that. I wanted to be able to have the same starting and ending point. I wanted it to go a certain route, so I wanted it to go for a mile, and maybe a certain time. I maybe wanted to run by a specific coffee shop or a park. And that's the idea, and it just granted, I think it was last year. So that's one idea. Here's another one. So now that I'm back home, say I want to have some friends come over to my house. And typically today what you do is you say, I want to get on your Wi-Fi network. And then they say, okay, here's my password. Or I have to go look up my password because sometimes it's a really long string of characters. But the idea behind this invention was, okay, you're friends. So why not log in through your Facebook account and see that you are a first-degree friend? And if you have that degree of friendship, let them on your Wi-Fi network. So that was the idea behind that invention. So what I wanted you to take away from all of this is there's no such thing as a small invention. It's a way of thinking, being an inventor. And it's recognizing that a problem can be a solution. So if I challenge you all every single day to maybe create a little a book, a binder, and jot down an invention for the day. And at the end of a week or a month, circle your favorite one. And maybe at the end of the year, circle your top favorite ones. And then reach out, create a prototype, or start to look into how you can patent your ideas. That's it. Thank you.